The like, I guess decline of like American dressing standards is something I think about a lot. I mean, I came right from work, but like this is kind of how I dress anyway. I dress like a square, and I work in an office, like a grown-up office, and like deal with, you know, grown-up things. And if I go to work any more dressed up than this, like if I wear a tie or if I'm crazy enough to wear a suit, even though I don't have to, sometimes I'll wear a suit. People will literally come up to me, not joking, I'll be wearing a tie, and they'll go like, why are you dressed like that? Which is hilarious to me because, like, aside from if you're wearing like a crazy costume, it's kind of never not super insulting. Like, it's never okay to ask someone, why are you dressed like that? Much less if it's the aspect of like, why am I dressed like that? Like, are we at work? Like, are we dealing with large sums of money? Like, I'm a man, I'm wearing a tie, like, you know. But, so that's like kind of a touchy subject with me. And recently I had to go to traffic court. I got a speeding ticket. And I don't know if anyone's had that experience before. I kind of really like it. Not that it happens all the time. But, you know, you go to court and there's maybe like 100 people there and everyone goes up to the judge one at a time and he tells you that he's going to make your speeding ticket a parking ticket and you have to pay $50 or whatever. And you're kind of there in the courtroom waiting for like an hour and a half while people go up one at a time. And it's like great people watching. And the most recent time I did this, I'm sitting in the court and it's, you know, it's totally quiet. You can't bring anything to read or anything because you're in court. It's a big deal. And I'm cracking myself up looking at every single person there. There's 100 people there. They're all dressed like slobs. Like, I mean, you know, not that I'm very judgmental of the way people dress, but like in certain situations, like, you know, I'm going to court. I probably was dressed like this except I had my shirt tucked in. But I'm thinking like anybody who was like, I'm going to court. I'm going to see a judge. Like, there's people there in shorts. They're in t-shirts. There's a guy that literally had one of the shirts with like Tweety Bird with a basketball, which I hadn't seen since I was in like elementary school. Like crazy. And I'm just thinking like we're like, just in general we're in court. B, like we're all literally like asking the judge to do us a favor for no reason, basically. Like, you get out of it like, no one's had their shirt tucked in. It was hilarious to me. And I'm sitting in there, and after a while I notice there's a kid sitting next to me in like these kind of long benches, and he's maybe 10 feet away. And he's maybe like 19 at most. And he's dressed kind of nice. He's like got real short, buzz cut hair, like just a nice pair of ironed pants, and his gray shirt tucked in. And I noticed this kid. I'm like, all right, this kid knows what's up. This here is like, knows what's going on. And he's wearing boots, which like I thought was a little weird, but I was like, okay, you know, they're like nice, clean, they're like black boots. I was like, maybe he's a vet or something. And you know, I'm doing that thing like when you're like waiting around the same group of people for a long time, or you know, something like that. Like you kind of like mentally bond with people, or you know, like you're kind of like looking at the same people all the time and like, you know, thinking about them and like developing this kind of mental relationship with them. And I'm doing that with this kid. I'm like, he's younger, and I'm like almost feeling this kind of like fatherly, older brotherly. Like I'm just thinking like, oh right, this kid, like he's got a brain. Like, you know, he's not showing up in like cargo shorts to a court of law. And then I watch him, and after a certain point I notice he's got a ring on. And I'm like, oh, he's young, is he married? And I like kind of surreptitiously look at the ring, and I see that it's an iron cross. And then I realize, oh, surprise, he's a Nazi. Is because he's a skinhead and he's wearing combat boots and like Nazi like iron gray which was awesome. I mean, Nazis are bad, but like I was super disappointed that I didn't get to see him. I left before him, but just thinking like, you know, like obviously A, like why are you leaving the house dressed like a Nazi anyway? B, like what is he proving in court? Like he's going to go up to the judge, and the judge is going to be like, okay, you're going like 45 and 30, but like you know, it's your first offense in this jurisdiction, and I see you're a member of the one true race. The only good thing about it was I was really glad that I realized when I did that he was a Nazi, because I was getting so, like, I was bonding with him so much that I knew that if it had been another 10, 15 minutes, I would have crossed the kind of verbal barrier where I would have been, you know, like, felt okay to say something to him, which would have been very awkward because, you know, it would have been like me being like, hey, you and me, like, we think alike. Keep on doing what you're doing, buddy. It would have been a bad day in court for me.